What is the spiritual dream meaning of receiving money? And what if your dreams are trying to tell you something you've completely forgotten, that you deserve more?
To really get this, we've got to look at a story you think you know. We need to talk about Oprah Winfrey.
I mean, she was born in rural Mississippi, sexually abused starting at age 9, pregnant at 14. The baby died. The world handed this woman every single reason to believe she was worth absolutely nothing.
But then, something shifted. She's spoken about it openly, these inner promptings, these spiritual nudges just whispering to her that abundance wasn't just, possible, it was her birthright. And she didn't wait for proof in her bank account, no. She received it in her spirit first.
And today, she's worth approximately $2.8 billion. And this is what I want you to get. That is not a coincidence. That is a woman who learned how to receive. Okay, so here's the thing that most people completely miss about having a dream like this. It has absolutely nothing to do with cash. Receiving money in your dreams is not about money. Just let that sink in for a second. It is all about your relationship with worthiness. It's your subconscious, maybe your higher self, banging on the door of your waking life, screaming at you, you are allowed to have more. Stop turning it away. Okay, let's get real. Ask yourself right now, when was the last time you actually accepted help without immediately apologizing for it? When's the last time someone gave you a gift and your mouth didn't just automatically say, "Oh, you shouldn't have"? Do you feel that little twinge of guilt when good things come to you, even in your sleep? Look, if you answered yes to any of this, that dream you had, it wasn't random. It's a lifeline. And believe me, it matters more than you think. What's happening here is a spiritual intervention. Look at it this way. All those negative stories you tell yourself when you're awake, "I'm not worthy, I don't deserve this," they literally build the walls of your reality. And dreams about receiving money, they're like a wrecking ball to that architecture. They're meant to crack it wide open. So here's the key takeaway. Spiritually, money in dreams isn't cash. It's energy. It's life force. It's that sacred flow of giving and receiving that literally keeps your soul alive. And listen, this is not some new age niche idea. This is a cross-cultural truth. You find it everywhere. We're talking African ancestral traditions, Jungian analysis, biblical symbolism, Eastern philosophy. It's universal. What's happening is your deepest self is rehearsing abundance. It's practicing saying yes. So remember this. This dream is not a fantasy. It is a forecast. And here's the urgent, raw truth of it. Women, especially, we are conditioned from the time we are girls to shrink, to give everything away, to minimize ourselves, to say "I'm fine" when we are starving financially, emotionally, spiritually. So a dream about receiving money, that is your psyche in direct, open rebellion against all of that conditioning. You cannot dismiss it. So all of this leads to the final, most critical point. What are you going to do now? Because listen to me, knowing what this dream means and then doing absolutely nothing about it, that is the spiritual equivalent of being handed a map to a treasure and just setting it on fire right in front of the person who gave it to you. Oprah didn't just dream of a better life, she got up and she moved in the direction her dreams were pointing. It is that simple and that hard. Step 1, the dream, that's been delivered to you. Step 2, well, that's on you. The map is in your hand. Your dreams have pointed the way. So the only question left, the only question is, will you move? Part 2. All right, let's get right into it. You keep having the dream, but you are absolutely missing the message. So we're going to decode the 11 most common ways you dream about receiving money, what it actually means, and what you're supposed to do about it, like right now. Okay, look, understanding your dream with laser precision matters. Was it coins or huge wads of cash? From a stranger or from someone you love who's passed on? Every single detail is a crucial piece of the message your subconscious is trying to scream at you. You gotta pay attention. So this first set of dreams we're looking at, they're not subtle, not at all. These are powerful, positive flares your spirit is sending up. They're confirmations. The real question is, are you even listening? So you had the dream where you just looked down and there it was, money. You didn't ask for it, you didn't work for it. This is one of the most powerful abundance signals your mind can possibly send. It means you're finally moving through your life with enough awareness to actually see the opportunities that are already sitting right in front of your face.
Okay, here's your homework. This week, I want you to identify and write down 3 things in your life you've been overlooking. A skill you just brush off, a person you haven't talked to in a while, a door that's already slightly open. I want you to treat those 3 things like they're cash you just found on the ground.
Now, this dream isn't really about that person. Not really. It's about what they represent to you. Is it safety, success, raw power? Your subconscious is basically telling you, hey, you are finally ready to let those exact qualities into your own life. So let's make this real. Pinpoint one trait you genuinely admire in that person from your dream. Now, ask yourself and be brutally honest. Why haven't you given yourself permission to be that yet? That's your block. That's the work.
The form of the money is absolutely critical. Getting handed large bills, hundreds, thousands, that's an alarm clock from your soul. It is screaming at you that you are playing way too small. But getting coins, that means you're dismissing the small, steady wins that are actually building something real. You gotta stop calling it nothing.
All right, 2 different messages mean 2 different actions. Simple. If you dreamt of large bills, you need to name the one area where fear is keeping you small. Name it. If you dreamt of coins, your job is to document every single tiny win for 1 week. These are your coins. Start acting like they're worth something.
Okay, this one's different. This one has some real weight to it. In almost every spiritual tradition, receiving something from the dead in a dream is a direct message. This isn't just a dream, it's a spiritual endowment. It's a transfer of their strength, their wisdom, or maybe even their unfinished business. So you need to ask yourself, what did that person stand for? What was the one value or strength that just defined them? Because that is the inheritance being handed to you, and you owe it to them and you owe it to yourself to do something that matters with it.
We're shifting gears now, hard. These next dreams are not affirmations. They are critical warnings. This is your subconscious holding up a giant, unflattering mirror to the internal blocks that are costing you absolutely everything. Do not look away. Please pay careful attention here. If you woke up from this dream feeling wrong or dirty or just guilty for having received money, even fake dream money, you are carrying a money wound. And I promise you, it is actively blocking abundance from your real life. Just sit with that for a second. Go deeper than the easy answer. Why, at your absolute core, does it feel wrong to receive good things? Let's be clear, this isn't some noble spiritual discernment. It is a wound. It was probably handed down to you, installed by people who loved you, but were completely terrified of abundance themselves. You learned early on that receiving was somehow dangerous, and your nervous system has never forgotten it. I need you to grab a journal right now and write this down. I feel guilty about receiving because. And don't stop. Finish that sentence 5 times. The first 4 answers don't count. That 5th answer, that's the truth. And that truth is costing you your life. This is probably the most gut-wrenching variation, which of course also makes it the most important. This dream is a direct, unfiltered playback of a self-sabotage pattern that is running your life. Let's be honest with each other. You recognize this pattern, don't you? In your waking life? The job you talked yourself out of, the great relationship you pushed away, the opportunity you blew up before it could fail, or maybe before it could succeed. Your dream is just showing you the blueprint of your own behavior. This dream is your mirror, so your work is to get brutally honest, identify the pattern, and get support. Seriously, do not carry this by yourself anymore. The pattern, not your circumstances, is the only thing standing between you and the life your dreams keep showing you is possible. All right, now for the dreams that are signaling what's just around the corner. These dreams point to brand new opportunities, new resources, and the emergence of a more capable, more powerful version of you. Potential can show up in 3 distinct forms in your dreams, okay? Getting foreign currency means you need to learn something new to cash in on the gift you've been given. An envelope means something specific and personal is just waiting for you to open it. And getting money from a stranger? Well, that's your future self sending capital back in time to fund the mission. So, 3 dreams, 3 actions. Super simple. If you got foreign currency, you need to invest in learning where you feel ignorant. If you got an envelope, it's time to finally act on the decision you've already made in your heart. And if a stranger gave you money, you need to start treating your future self like a real destination, not some fantasy.
This last dream, it reveals a deep, deep conflict. If you got money and your very first instinct was to hide it, it means you want abundance, but you are terrified of the relational cost. You're scared of the jealousy, of the visibility. You're afraid of what and who you'll lose if you actually rise. This is urgent. You need to ask yourself 2 questions right now. First, who specifically do I believe would not celebrate my success? Get a name in your head. And second, why am I letting their imagined reaction run my actual life? Hiding isn't protecting you, it's imprisoning you. So it all comes down to this. It's really simple. Your dreams are offering you an inheritance. The warnings, the signals, the untapped potential, it's all an offer from the deepest part of who you are. The only question left is, are you going to claim it?
Part 3. Look, understanding your dream, that's just step 1. It's the starting line, but what you do the morning after, that's the entire race. That's where the real work actually begins. And let's be real clear about this. There is no middle ground. You are either moving towards transformation or you are choosing to stay stuck. That is the choice your dreams are handing you every single night. So let's get into the tools to make that choice.
First up, for those of you who process inwardly, if you connect through words or quiet reflection, these first methods, they're for you.
Okay, this breaks down into 2 paths. If you're a thinker, get a paper journal and put it by your bed. The second you wake up, you write. 5 minutes straight, no filter, no edits. Then just write 1 sentence. This dream might be telling me to, that's it. Now, for the meditator, your work starts before you even fall asleep. You set an intention, show me what I need to receive. When you wake up, stay still and ask, what are you trying to give me? And you have to listen for the first thing that comes up, not the logical answer, the one that just rises.
And this is why you cannot wait. These messages aren't going to stick around forever. They have expiration dates. If you ignore them, your subconscious is just going to go quiet, and you cannot afford that silence. The work has to start tonight.
All right, now for those of you who process by doing, if you need to move, to act, to connect with other people to figure things out, this is your toolbox.
For the doers out there, I want you to try the money date. 1 hour, every week, just you and your finances. You take one dream and you connect it to one concrete, real-world action. Research that grant. Figure out how to price your services. Open that savings account. You have to link the symbolic to the literal. And for the healers, this is about community, the dream circle. Find 3 to 5 women you trust. Here's the key. Nobody interprets anyone else's dream. You just share yours and answer 3 questions. How did I feel? What did I do? And where am I doing the same thing in my waking life? Because you weren't meant to do this alone.
And let's be brutally honest about this. That feeling of, I have to figure this out on my own, that's not humility. It is a prison that's disguising itself as independence. Your freedom begins with 1 text message to 1 woman you trust. Do it this week.
Okay. But what if you're not into the spiritual stuff? What if you need logic, data, cold hard proof? Well, there's a method for you too.
It's called the pattern audit. I want you to treat your dreams like what they are, psychological data. For 30 days, you track everything in a simple spreadsheet. What was the dream about? How did you feel on a scale of 1 to 10, fear to peace? And what was actually happening in your life that day? You don't have to believe a thing. Just gather the data. At the end of the month, you'll have a concrete, evidence-based map of where your money blocks are actually hiding.
And here's the paradox for all my logical minds out there. You can't wait for the proof to begin. The act of beginning is what creates the proof. The data you're looking for is waiting for you to collect it. So start the log tonight.
Now, I need you to listen very, very carefully. The tone is shifting here, because this next part is absolutely non-negotiable. This is for the woman who is carrying some deep wounds around this stuff.
Ask yourself this, and be honest. Is this the landscape of your dreams? Because if it is, the tools we've just talked about, they're not going to be enough.
These are the red flags. If your dreams are consistently filled with shame or guilt or just intense fear, if they always seem to connect back to your family or childhood trauma, if the very idea of having more money feels like a threat instead of a gift, this is beyond journaling. This means you need professional support. A CBT or a trauma-informed therapist isn't a luxury. It is the right tool for this job.
Let me be incredibly direct. This is life or death urgent. The wound that is stopping you from receiving money is the same wound that will stop you from living a full life. This is emergency maintenance on the very foundation of who you are.
So here's the bottom line. You make the call. Not when you feel ready,
not when things calm down. You make the call this week. Period.
So after all of this, where do we land? We land right back at the beginning, because all of this work, every single method, is about one thing and one thing only: learning how to receive.
I mean, think about it. Oprah didn't just wake up one day a billionaire. Her entire empire was built on 1,000 tiny moments of choosing herself, of listening to that inner voice and saying yes to the next right thing, refusing to let a history of not enough write her future.
And that's exactly what your dreams are trying to do for you. Right now, they are offering you those same little moments, those same invitations to choose yourself night after night after night.
So it all comes down to this. The tools are right here. The messages are coming through. The only question left is the one that only you can answer. Are you willing to receive what's being offered? Because that willingness, that choice, that's where your abundance truly begins.